3. At 6 the next morning, they were sitting in McIntyre's car, parked on the Everglades Parkway, a mile from the rest stop where they'd killed Andie Moore. Her car was still sitting in the parking lot, and she was still slumped in the front seat. They were exhausted, as they'd gotten only a couple of hours of sleep last night after dealing with the Bermans and the kid, and they were drinking black coffee to stay awake. If somebody were to ask why they were parked on the shoulder of the highway, they'd flash their FBI credentials and tell whoever asked to fuck off. If their boss called and asked where they were, they'd say they were working a case in Hialeah that they'd been assigned, but they figured their boss most likely wouldn't call. Their boss hated them and avoided talking to them as much as possible. What they expected to happen was that some tourist would drive into the rest stop, see the dead girl in the car, and then call 911. The rest stop was located in Collier County, and the dispatcher would most likely send a Collier County sheriff's deputy, but could end up sending the state patrol. Then whoever responded would call for more cops, a forensic team, and probably a coroner. Because they'd taken the girl's purse, the cops wouldn't be able to identify her immediately, but then someone would find the papers for the rental car in the glove compartment that McIntyre had intentionally left there. McIntyre figured that within a couple of hours of finding the body, they'd identify Moore as a DOJ investigator, and then somebody would call the FBI's Miami field office, which was actually located in Miramar. At that point, FBI agents would be sent to make sure the locals didn't fuck up the crime scene and would probably take over the case. But there was no way that McIntyre and Magruder would be the FBI agents dispatched. McIntyre and Magruder were both 56 years old, and the mandatory retirement age for an FBI agent is 57, unless there's something special about the agent. There was nothing special about McIntyre and Magruder. They'd spent over 30 years in the Bureau. For the first few years, they'd been fairly gung-ho about their jobs and had made an effort to stand out, but after a while they realized they were never going to be more than foot soldiers in the war on crime. They just didn't have the ambition, the connections, or the political shrewdness it takes to rise through the